Hello, another day, another public health information opportunity. Thank you guys for joining us today. It's time for We the Doctors. My name is Dr. Jules, and I have my colleagues here with me, Dr. Yvonne.
Hello, welcome to the show.
Dr. Valeria.
Hello guys, you're welcome.
And Dr. Okay.
Twale.
Oh my God.
Let's do this.
Anyway, today we're talking about a topic that is very, very sensitive, okay? It's quite devastating in a family, and we know that sometimes the society's perception of this condition too can affect that individual so much. So our effort today is to have, create some form of enlightenment in the society so that we address this or perceive this differently, because when we do that, we are also supporting that individual, okay? We are talking about dwarfism. I'm sure most of you must have seen little people, around and stuff like that, and we all have the way we perceive, such an individual. But hopefully, when you now know the health conditions that they face and that doesn't label the individual, we become better people and a better society, to be honest. I'm sure most of you must have met, I was thinking of this guy that does Game of Thrones, Peter. He's a fantastic guy.
I've never really watched that.
You don't watch
TV
that
series.
show?
I've never watched it.
Oh, really?
So,
but there are lots of people that are doing great things.
I can relate with Peter as one of my names, so
Oh, your name is Peter?
Oh my goodness.
Anyway, so let's talk about the challenges that these individuals face. But before we do that, let me talk about the definition. Dwarfism is basically a condition of short stature. That's the adult can attain only a height of 4 feet 10 inches, okay? And that is really, really short. And one thing about dwarfism is that it's also associated with other health conditions, health issues that they face. So let us, somebody might eventually have a child that is a little person. You want to know those health conditions because it doesn't end there at the person's appearance. There are other things that they deal with. So let's talk about those health issues that they face. Guys?
It's not necessarily a health issue per se. It's a health issue regardless as well. But one of the things you realize with some of them is that, they have very slow development, right? They tend to start walking at a later stage, probably by the age of 2 or sometimes even at the age of 3 years, right? Before they start walking, by themselves or start sitting down and all of that. It's quite an emotional thing because, I can imagine a parent having a child and then they realize at birth that child is going to be a dwarf, I've seen cases where the father would just first of all run away, and then maybe after 1 week later they'll bring him back, and then you face the reality.
Right.
Sometimes before now we have some cultural belief that will say that they should kill the child. Sadly. But then again, we have also seen that some of the people have been bold enough, take it up on themselves and say, look, I wouldn't allow this child's stature, deter how far he will go in life. I'm going to invest in this child, make sure that he becomes someone, later in life. Your stature should not determine, how far you can go, really.
And everybody...
Pastor Yvonne just say your stature should not determine your status. You're feeling like Busta Rhymes now. Anyway,
so individual face health issues at one point or another. Even there are some people that have this delayed milestone.
I was about to say that. Doesn't mean that everyone that has delayed milestone of not having to walk in time, the parents now start shouting and screaming up and down.
Exactly.
No, but in little people, that's people that we call dwarfs in this country. You find out that one major problem they have is breathing problems.
Yes.
It's easy to understand it if you consider the fact that, let's say someone that should have attained, let's use height now, 1.8 meters is eventually 1.4 meters. It's expected that the length of the lungs will not be as high as the lungs will not be as long as the lungs should be. And because it's not as long as the lungs should be, you're not getting enough air going into the lungs. And basically, lots of breathing problems come with it. So you have the length of the lungs reduced in height. And because of that reduction in the size the lungs should be, there's a reduction in the ability for them to take in air. And that leads to lots of the problems they have with their respiration. Even with that, if you understand how dwarfism occurs, you also understand that they have weight problems.
Yes.
So not only are they not tall enough, they now begin to add weight beyond what they themselves will be able to manage. So people will now say, he's not growing tall, but just adding weight. But it's not.
So they feel bulky.
Yes, it's beyond their control. Now add this to the breathing problem. You have lots of weight compressing on already small lungs that we have. It actually worsens the issues that they have. Really.
Absolutely.
Even the bones.
Yeah.
Talking about the weight, the bones that is even bearing that weight is going to have problems. So they have things like back pain, and then the curvature of the spine too can get distorted. You know, the growth hormones is also playing a role in dwarfism. So those are one of the things that they can.
I think one thing I want to add is whenever you find breathing problem in medicine, it's common to find ear infections in those conditions because it's a tightly knit. Tightly woven knit or tightly knit woven.
However you want to mesh.
But you understand is a closed mesh. So difficulty in breathing. You will also have ear problems, ear discharge often. So you have mothers with children who are little people or who eventually become little, coming often with respiratory problems, ear infections.
In addition to what she was saying about the spine being curved, they have bow legs most of the time when you see because of this same weight-bearing issue sometimes that you talk about. And also things like arthritis, joint stiffness are some of the symptoms that they actually manifest.
And their teeth too.
When you
Bulky
look at the face, you find out they're all together.
Yes, I must mention at this point that we're not saying that every person, every little person will face all this. We're just trying to get you aware of those conditions that they might come up with. So you want to be ready to manage them.
And this helps us let the society really understand that these guys already face a lot of problems. For you to be adding more problems to what you already have, all the teasing, all the noise, and
I know
we already have issues that are battling. It's not just the height. So
exactly,
and then it's not their fault anyway. So you don't just start, making a mockery of them and putting them under undue pressure, undue stress.
There is this saying in Igbo language, meaning you really can't be taller than me and at the same time shorter than I am.
Apart from that, just don't label anybody and assume that you know them. You never know who that person is. Anyway, we'll still be talking about more tips for you as a parent, as somebody living, as a little person, or a physician. What you can tell the parents of this that has a child that is a dwarf. Okay, but before that, we'll take a short break. Dr. Eva will be coming back to discuss the causes of dwarfism and the types. Don't go far.
Hi, you're welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is We the Doctors. We'll be talking about dwarfism today. Dwarfism, many of you look at people and just, call them names and just call them dwarfs like that. But we would say when an adult has an average height of, say, 147 centimeters or 4 feet 10 inches, then that person might pass for a little person or dwarf, as the name may say. Then talking about the causes of dwarfism, it could either be genetic or medical. Most of the time, anyway, we find the medical causes, which we will divide into 2 types, and that is the proportionate and disproportionate dwarfs, saying that there are 2 different types. If we are to explain this further, like the name states, disproportionate means that it's any disorder that causes some part of the body to be the average, to be in the normal form, at least like the average of what it's meant to be normally, then some other part of the body becomes so small. Things like a condition called achondroplasia plays a significant role in this case because about 70% of cases like this are due to achondroplasia. Doesn't mean that the person is not mentally balanced or doesn't mean that anything has to do with the mental capacity. It's intact, it's okay. It's just in the form. Then talking about the other one, the proportionate dwarfs. In these particular people, their body size the proportion is okay, just that they are very small, meaning that, their trunks, their legs, their heads, everything is proportional, but just that they are smaller than normal. Here we can attribute this to maybe birth defects or childhood diseases. In cases of talking about growth hormone deficiency, so to say, can cause people to remain this way, as opposed to the disproportionate in which you find people that have maybe long torsos, that is the trunk, and short limbs with big head and things like that. So these are the 2 types basically that we have here. Some other causes of dwarfism that we may not really be talking about so much right now is things like malnutrition. Yes, that can cause dwarfism, But if this is taken care of, then early enough though, you can actually overcome this. But if not, you find these people having just very, as in the short stature, they are short, but they don't actually look like the other ones, but it is a cause of dwarfism. So talking about dwarfism, we're going to be having a very interesting guest on the show. He's a multi-talented person, and I know you're looking forward to hearing from him. So we'll be taking a short break right now. When we come back, Dr. Jules will be talking to this person who is a special guest, and you get to know him when you see him. Please stay tuned. With the doctors, we'll be right back.
All right, welcome back. The show continues. We've been talking about dwarfism, and it's time for us to welcome you to our interview segment. We have somebody in the studio with us, or I do, because I chased the other doctors away because I wanted it to be all me. Anyway, we have somebody that is in the studio with us, and he's such an inspiration. Talking about today's topic, I felt it would be great for especially the little people community and every other person to get the perspective from somebody living the life as a little person. But that's not all he is. He is a renowned actor. He's a presenter. He's a co-host of our show here on Wazobia TV. That's Aside Hot. In short, need I say more? I'm talking about Victor Umwogu. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Doctor, for having me on your program.
I am so happy to rope you in. I know that he's a very, very busy man. I said, look, if you cannot do it for any other person, you must do it for me.
Obviously, of course, we can't do it without you too.
Yes. So I'm really happy that you've come here to be with us.
Thank you.
Now, we've been talking about dwarfism, and we know that there are a lot of challenges that it comes with. We've been talking about the health challenges and all. Just tell us a little bit about your journey so far. How has it been? Have there been any health challenges in your part living in Nigeria as a little person?
Well, it is a general syndrome. Challenges definitely will come into this nature, no doubt. When I mean a general syndrome, it is a societal challenge. It is a societal challenge for every dwarf to pass through one stage of challenge or the other.
Yes.
And when I mean societal, it is not just restricted to Nigeria. I mean, every dwarf across the world must have gone through one challenge or the other. Well, in my own case, of course, I have my own share of my own challenge as a little person, as a dwarfing individual.
Yes.
And basically, one of such challenges, okay, fine, let me even probably put it this way. When they give birth to me, and of course, there was this stunning look on my parents, no doubt. But of course, you understand, the doctor had to come in to probably start explaining to them that, look.
Yes.
And then my dad was not around then. So when he now came in and he saw his son.
Right.
And then, he had no other option but to accept what his wife gave birth to.
Yes.
And as long as the doctor have been able to play his role by at least breaking it down that these are the factors that led to this your son becoming what he is. Mm-hmm. Obviously, being the kind of man he is,
no fault of anybody.
Course,
Yes,
he took it upon himself that, okay, he is my child. I have to play the role of a father. I have to raise him up the way every other child are being raised up and all that. And because in the first place, it never really occurred to my parents that their first child would turn out to be a dwarf. So here I am, and they have no other option but to accept their fate and raise me the way they should raise me.
Exactly. So your parents are Christians, I would imagine.
Yeah, they are.
Now, so there had to be some form of counseling, talking to them. You said the doctor spoke to them, enlightened them about what it is in accepting, and moving forward. Mm-hmm. So, but do we have any support group of that nature for people that would probably have, a little person as a child in our society? I don't think.
Well, I think for now we don't, because I only feel the job at the moment is just restricted to doctors playing their role as doctors. Okay, fine. This is your child, and these are the features that make that have been able to define the nature he found him or herself.
Yes.
So but then it should go beyond that.
Exactly.
Because that stage is not just enough to convince some individuals that, look, this is what it is.
Yeah.
There are a whole lot to it. There are a whole lot of challenges that little dwarfing child passes through.
Especially in our society.
Exactly. So who will be available to at least spur or encourage the parents about, okay, that these are just bear in mind that these are the faces of challenges this child will eventually go through. So be prepared for it. Make up your mind to just encourage him, give him the necessary support he needs, so that in the end, you don't just end up regretting why you gave birth to me, or probably the individual end up regretting why he turned out the way he is.
Right.
So as I said earlier, I've had my own share of dwarfy challenge, and I remembered growing up, there were moments when you walk on the street and you see people calling you names. Okay, fine. When I mean very ridiculous names, annoying names, and all that. But at that early stage of my life, it pisses me off, no doubt. I mean, I react almost immediately, but it now got to a stage. The whole thing now became a regular thing, and I got accustomed to the lifestyle, and because my parents have been able to play their own role by saying, Udochukwu, Victor, this is who you are.
Exactly.
Don't allow this affect
to define you.
Exactly.
I think what you did was you rose above those labeling, not necessarily you getting accustomed to it. You saw it as, okay, these people are labeling me, but you rose above it. And from what you've said, a strong family support system really helped you. Now, you have been exposed to a community of little people. What are those challenges that they, as a community, still face? Because I'm sure when I talk to you about the health challenges, you mentioned delayed walking. When it comes to
that was
the only thing.
For me, that was the only challenge I tend to have. It took me a while before I could walk. I think it took me either 2 years before I could make my first move, my first walk. Exactly. But for some other species of dwarfism, because mine is more like the most domineering type of dwarfism. It is called achondroplasia.
Yes.
And according to the statistics, it occurs 1 out of every 24 to 40,000 births. You understand? So that is me, and that is more like the most domineering. But we also have dysplasia congenita, which is another species of dwarf.
Dr. Nkubi is talking now, so people, you have to listen. I'm so excited. Please go on.
That is another species of dwarfism, and it has its own features as well. And one major feature is the fact that the individuals are not usually more than either 2 feet tall. Or now have dysplasia congenita. I mean, dystrophic dysplasia. You understand? That is, so it has its statistics. It has its bad statistics. But you can't still compare it to achondroplasia, which of course is the most domineering.
Right.
So back to your question that has to do with from
what you are saying now, it shows that even apart from, the names of the conditions and all that, it doesn't still tell you who the person is. Yes, because you are a successful actor, you're a presenter. There are lots of people that are watching now, little people, and they have things that they want to do. The society might be hindering them from accomplishing that, but still, how to overcome those extrinsic factors goes a long way.
It does.
As a society, we are still lacking in that aspect.
Yes.
We don't have a support system that, somebody can go and say, we want to go here and build our confidence as an individual. We don't have that. That is one thing that is lacking.
Yes.
But then again, like you said, the support of the family is still paramount in that individual's life.
More like the major build up to who you become eventually. It's fine. There are faces to challenges, no doubt.
Yes.
I mean, this family plays its role.
Yes.
But then there's also the societal role.
Exactly.
Because it is the level of confidence the parents instill on the child that the child will probably step out with.
Right.
And if the individual eventually steps out with that level of confidence, and they bear in mind that, this is the real world, this is what I'm going out to face.
Yes.
The individual should be prepared that, this is it. And basically, if the parents on their own part don't play their own role, of course you see the result.
Exactly.
And where do you see the result? You see it affect the child in his level of education. You see the issue of self-consciousness.
Okay.
You see the issue of him probably trying to isolate himself from the activities of the society.
So whoever is watching right now, okay, and is living life as a little person, just look into the camera and give them a final word of advice just to round up the segment.
You are who you are. Look, permit me to probably add a bit of pidgin. You don't get too world. You don't come this one, you don't come this one. Accept who you are. You can't change it. Neither I've not been able to change mine, but I've been able to go beyond it. And the basic thing is accept who you are. There are things you know you can achieve, and then go beyond it. Get it done. Don't allow the issue of self-consciousness. Don't allow what people say about you, about the nature, affect who you are. Just move on with your life. I mean, before you know it, you'll probably see yourself, achieving things you never really imagined you could achieve.
Thank you so much, Mr. Victor. You have been absolutely fantastic. Oh my goodness, I'm so happy that we've had you here on the show. I know most people will be watching and they have questions. You want to follow us on Twitter at We The Doctors, and Mr. Victor, or Nkubi, as you all know him, has given us his handle as well. Is at Nkubi WZB, and we'll be tagging him along. So you want to join the discussion? Let's have a short break, and the show will continue.
Hello and you're welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is We The Doctors. My name is Dr. Valeria. We have been talking about dwarfism. If you're just joining us, we've talked about that earlier on. We've talked about the definition, and we also had a good, an interesting guest, Chukwudi Nkubi, as I fondly call him. Thanks so much for coming around. Now, in this particular segment, we're going to be giving you some tips, more like for parents and specialists, on kind of remedies, basically, and how to make life easy for people with dwarfism.
Yes.
I think I will start first by saying that posture is very important. If you realize and then be listening to us, one of the things we had mentioned earlier on is the fact that they usually complain about back pain, lower back pain, and that's one of the reasons because of the curvature of their spine.
Yes.
So it's very important if you can give them like a pillow support, at the lower back. And then sometimes because of the height, you could also provide like a stool for them, because most of the things that they find it difficult to sit up, right. So you can put like a stool for them, and then they can place their feet on and then sit upright. And then it's also important at home, for example, you don't want to start stressing them. Sometimes we'll put up the doorknobs high up, so you want to put the doorknob lower so that they can easily access it. You want to put rails by the staircase so that easily
they can access it as well.
They can access it, and the same thing with the lights, knobs and stuff like that, switches. You can make like a lower one, or you could get like this wire they could use and then easily put up anything to just make life very easy for them. The tables can be very, very low, even the ones at the kitchen cabinet and stuff like that, such that it's accessible for them, and then they can do their things easily.
And then when movement too, like in the cars,
yes,
you want to use the rear-facing baby carrier, okay? And it's advised, according to the Organization of Little People of America, that the carrier seats that you face, the rear-facing type, you can use it for as long as possible until the person is like, is an adult and they want to probably drive themselves. And of course, there's a lot of modification that will go into that car to make it comfortable for a little person to be able to drive the car. And then, of course, the complications that we mentioned earlier, is very important that we remind, as a physician, if you're seeing them, you want to pinpoint those things, the back pain, the recurrent ear infection, rule them out, because if the person is prone to it, you want to make sure they are aware of it and they are able to combat it or point it out to their physician anytime they see their doctor.
For the parents, I always say it's good to discuss your child's feelings with your child. If your child happens to be a little person, a dwarf, you have to encourage the child to speak up, encourage the child to voice out what he or she feels about the condition. Then one thing that comes in important is practice sessions at home. Now, out in the streets, you find that people are going to tease the child. So it's time to practice responses to teasing, even at home. It makes the child realize this is what the society is like. This is what I give back to them. And then let the child come up openly if he or she is being bullied in school to tell you, and then you take it back to school and
Exactly. Talking about school.
That's very important.
Talking
Yes,
about
that's
school,
very
you have to
important.
talk to these educators because some of them really don't know this thing. So you have children that are like this. You educate them on what dwarfism is all about. The child has special needs most of the time. So you want to make sure that the school itself is able to...
Especially emotionally.
Emotional, so they know how to
emotionally
relate
and
with the child.
in so many ways.
Yes.
So that the school is able to provide for these needs.
We're just
You
lucky
see,
in our environment that we have a very good family support system. Because in some other places, you realize that people would commit suicide because of issues like this.
Even with the good family support system, I like to add that parents should educate themselves on
what's it all about.
The conditions that their children have, and then take the lead in making sure that their children are well adapted to the society. Yes, we don't really have lots of support groups around, but if parents take the lead, they form the support groups for themselves. And
because what you might just have is that you have a parent that's already defeated emotionally and mentally, who doesn't believe in that child, and will be relating the same to the child already. So that way, the child himself doesn't even believe in himself.
But what an inspiration our guest was. Is Victor Nwogo.
Yeah.
He took the time to educate himself about dwarfism, and he's talking about the types and stuff like that. Most people wouldn't even bother.
But you will realize that he emphasized on the benefit of the family support
as
system.
well.
Because it was very important. Because if you had parents that wouldn't, they'd be like, what the hell is this? And they were condemning him and giving him issues and all of that. It would affect him mentally. It would affect him emotionally. It would affect him
also
in every aspect.
Yeah.
So it's very, very important for you to have the family support system. That way, if someone from outside, pass the tease or make jest of you and all of that, you can stand up straight to that person and say, what's the big deal?
Exactly, because
what is it that you can do that I can't do?
you are,
Absolutely.
and that doesn't define you. But we still, as a society, can do much more. I feel we can get like a support group.
For them,
we are in a cyber world. People can go somewhere and talk to someone that is enlightened about it.
Speaking of support group, Dozier sent in a question on support groups. He's asking that, is there a national association that supports people who are dwarfs in the country, Nigeria?
Do we have?
We don't have one.
Yes.
But I've realized that lots of the little people around have created support groups around themselves.
Yes.
They create even business opportunities for themselves. They create peer group sessions that they discuss. It's like an open house where people come in, they are welcomed, and then they discuss conditions pertaining to them.
Exactly.
It's about finding one around you. Dozier didn't specify your height.
On the contrary, I think there will probably possibly be one.
So if you find, that's what I'm saying, about if in your location you don't find any support group, you can actually chair it. You can start up one, find the next person around you, and start a group like
and again,
that.
I want to add to this what you said right now. I'm talking to everybody in general, and not just the dwarfs themselves.
Yes,
embrace. They are human. We are all human beings, for crying out loud. There's no need for isolation. Everybody's a human being, so everybody's equal. They are your friends, they are their friends, whatever. Embrace everybody. And
so the support comes from all of us. We can do much more when it comes to today's topic. And if you are listening to us, you're watching this show, and you have created the community that can help support the little people, you can follow us on Twitter at We The Doctors, and then we'll get to link every other person to you. And of course, as a government, I think we can do more, and as a society, to support these individuals because they are fantastic people. And if you are a little person, we believe in you. Please go live your dreams, for goodness sake, and rise above whatever extrinsic factor that you might face on a day-to-day basis. Thank you. That has been our show for today. We've been talking about dwarfism. We've had a fantastic time, and of course, we look forward to seeing you again on our next episode. So we see you next time. We're saying bye-bye and stay healthy.
Just enjoy the video they want to just watch. Make una sharply subscribe to our channel. Not darling.